That didn't really work. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Ryan. This is Bluebird Homestead. And in this video, we're going to be cutting up some firewood. So I'm back behind our house. This is a dead tree that I cut down a couple months ago. There's a video of me cutting down the tree in a previous video. It sat on the ground for a while then. And just last week, I cut up this portion of the tree. So today I'll be cutting up the rest of this tree, which is a good portion of the actual firewood from the tree. It's about mid-September now, where we are. So temperatures are starting to drop. We have about 70 or 65 degrees now. So it's a good time to get back on doing firewood. This is our first year burning wood all year round. We purchased our wood stove in February of this year. So we burned some part of the winter, but haven't burned all year round yet. So I'm curious to see how much wood we actually burn. Our house is newer and pretty well insulated, so I'm hoping that will serve us well. We currently have about 3 cords of wood processed and stacked and ready to burn. I don't think that's gonna last me the winter. So I'm trying to get some older wood that I can find around to split that and use that here in the next couple months. I'm just marking out the wood to uniform lengths. The chainsaw bar is 20 inches long, so I'm using that as a guide. Generally, I'm shooting for 18 to 20 inch long logs, and that seems to work well on a wood stove. You typically want your wood to season about a year to get all the moisture out, because you don't want to burn green wood that has moisture in it. Burning green wood that's wet and has moisture can cause issues with your stovepipe, clogging that up with creosote. So you definitely want to make sure your wood is dried out before you burn it. Well, I got all those cut up. Now I need to figure out how to get them out of the woods. They're kind of big. All right, well, these are really big and that didn't really work. So I'm gonna try to split them in half with an axe. If that is too rough, I might try to cut them in half with a chainsaw. We'll see. All right, took a little diversion there. These logs are super big, so I'm not gonna be able to move them out of the woods by myself. But I think I can clear a path here and roll them down this hill. I have the wood splitter, kind of cut a path through here, and I have the wood splitter sitting right there. I should be able to roll the logs down to the wood splitter. And I like to burn mainly just hardwoods, such as oak and ash. This is an oak here. I'm not sure on the variation of oak. With burning hardwood, you can get way more heat value, way more BTUs out of burning that wood than you would with burning something like pine. I don't really bother cutting up and splitting pine. There's not near enough heat value for taking the time to actually cut the wood up. All right, well, that worked out. Got all those logs rolled down here. I should be set up now. I'll just go ahead and split them all right here in the woods and load them up on the truck or a trailer. Generally, it's best to split wherever the tree is, but oftentimes I find trees are in the woods somewhere where I can't split, so I haul out the big logs and then split them up the wood pile. But in this case, these logs are way too big to move. All right, it's later in the evening now. It's definitely getting dark here. Got the wood splitter set up, got those logs rolled down like I said. So I'm gonna split a couple, see how this process works. So I'm gonna split the wood in there where I have the big logs rolled to. Probably just make a pile right in here somewhere of the split stuff, and then carry it again up to this trailer. We're borrowing this trailer for a couple weeks here, so I'm trying to utilize it as much as possible. So far, I'm really liking our wood splitter. It's a 25-ton county line wood splitter, and that's definitely big enough for the logs we have to split. Occasionally on these logs, it did kind of bind up or really slow down, but I was never really impeded on any of these logs. So I'm definitely happy with this log splitter. Well, we got a pile going there. I'm gonna grab some lights and probably do a little bit more. All right, well, it's the next day. I ended up splitting the wood I had rolled down to the wood splitter last night under lights. Loaded up a bunch of that wood in the trailer here. So we're gonna go ahead and probably grab the rest of those logs here and split them up, and then haul this wood over to the wood pile and stack it. I definitely ended up moving this wood many times, given the location of the wood and the size of the logs. Ideally, if you can get your wood splitter to the tree, you can cut up the tree, split, and load into a truck or a trailer right at the tree, and then haul to your wood pile and stack it. So you're really only moving it or handling it twice. You're handling it at the tree and then from the truck to the wood pile. Well, we had a rain shower show up here. Got a good amount split though, so try some more later. All right, so it's dark. I want to set up some lights and then stack all this wood. I have all this wood in the trailer that I cut yesterday. This is a little more green wood, so I'm gonna stack it behind our wood that we'll use this year. So probably we'll use this next year or maybe the end of this year. So definitely want to let it dry out a little more before we burn it. All right, we got everything set up. I got a big light back here in the wood pile, so I'll be able to see the stack. It's a beautiful evening. It's dark, but you can't let that stop you from working in the evenings in the fall. We're gonna start stacking. For all you wood burning people out there, let me know in the comments how many cords of wood you burn in a winter. I know there's a lot of different factors that go into how much you burn, such as the climate you live in, insulation in your house, how big your house is, what type of wood you're burning. But just to get a general idea, how many cords of wood people are burning, that'd be useful information to have. But I tell you what, with the temperatures dropping in the evenings, having to wear a sweatshirt, it's definitely a good feeling, and that means that fall is nearly upon us. So definitely looking forward to that. I like the cooler days and sweatshirt weather. So what I could do on the ends here to actually hold the wood pile in place is to just stack up alternating pieces of wood. So one layer will be going this way, while the other layer is going this way. And you stack all that up. And it does a fairly good job once you get all that wood put in. Another alternative I've seen some people do, which I may try, is to turn a pallet up on its end and screw it into the end here to serve as kind of an end wall. So I may try that on a couple, see how this holds up over the year. So like I mentioned before, I'm cutting these logs about 18 to 20 inches long, and that works well for putting the wood in our wood stove. So what that ends up meaning when I stack the wood on a 4-foot pallet is that I can only put 2 rows of wood, and those 2 rows of wood come out to about 3 feet. So for those that don't know, a cord of wood is 4 foot wide by 4 foot tall and 8 foot long. That's classified as a cord of wood. So as you're stacking your wood and counting off how many cords of wood you have, you generally want to keep your stack 4 foot wide by 4 foot tall, and then just figure out your length and divide by 8. In my case, I can only go approximately 3 to 3.5 foot wide, and so I'm going about 5 to 5.5 feet tall to compensate for the loss in width. And that way I can measure out every 8 feet still and get about a cord of wood. That's just a good guide, so you know how much you have and how much you're using when you're burning throughout the year. On the existing stacks of wood I have here, I went about 6 foot tall. I don't want to go too much taller than that, or my wood pile may fall down. So I think staying around the 5 to 5.5 foot mark is a better plan. So because I'm only using 3 feet of the 4 foot wide pallet, I'm just putting some smaller pieces on the backside here just to use up the space. Well, that's a pretty good pile of wood for an evening's work. I have some more in the woods from this tree that I'll need to pick up. I'll probably do that in the next day or two. But we're making some progress in a wood pile here, so that's always good. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, bye y'all.